Hi, this is Warlow from Business Loan Services and welcome to my Friday Business Finance Bulletin, my weekly roundup of news, tips, ideas and strategies on raising finance and dealing with banks. Well, what have I got for you this week? Well, a quick look at a survey going into the SME market about access to finance. Going to have a quick look at some measures that the European Central Bank are taking to try and boost lending to small businesses. And a quick look at some financial results from one of the alternative lenders. And in my tip of the week, a clip from a live seminar that I did where I share one key question that banks ask of themselves when they are looking at your borrowing request. So, first up, some results from a quarterly survey being carried out by the SME Finance Monitor team. Now, this is an independent survey carried out every quarter on 5,000 business owners on their experiences in that quarter on dealing with banks and raising finance. Now, only some interesting statistics come out of this report. So, what jumped out at me this time? Well, use of overdraft limits. You know, banks are not that keen in putting overdrafts in place anymore. It's kind of uncontrolled for them. They don't know where you're going to be spending your money. And this is being shown in the statistics. In 2013, on average, 18% of business owners were using overdrafts. Now that is down to 14%. And it's a gradual decline. Every quarter, this is coming down. Now, what about use of external finance? Well, external finance, only apparently 33% of those business owners surveyed say they're using external finance. So it shows that there's a lot of mooted demand out there for finance. So either businesses are using internal resources or turning to perhaps family and friends, whatever it may be, but not banks or any other providers. Linked to that mooted demand, there's always really one interesting stat which comes out of this report every quarter, which usually goes unreported in the media, mainly because it doesn't back up this message about banks not lending. And that's about the appetite for borrowing amongst businesses. Now, it shows that in this first quarter, 48% of business owners classify themselves as permanent non-borrowers. They are not interested in borrowing. So that's nearly half of business owners saying they don't want to borrow. And in this first quarter, looking at their appetite in the first quarter of 2014, 82% have said they had no reason to want to borrow. So that's a massive figure. So whilst we listen to the media about banks not lending, on the other hand, we've got a lot of lack of demand on the other side. Now, the argument can be, of course, that business owners are put off from approaching banks because they assume there's going to be a no. And I think there's an element of truth in that. But one other interesting figure that comes out, it looks at the approval rate. And this SME team asked all the small business owners they surveyed, what's your experience of getting the yes? 66% come back and say that they had that yes. So only 2/3 of them are getting what they want. So it just goes to show it is worth trying. Do not assume that the bank are going to say no. If you want to have a good look at that report, and it's fascinating, just go into your favourite search engine and type in SME Finance Monitor, and there you'll find links to the current report and all previous ones. So what about, this European Central Bank? Well, this week they took some actions to try and encourage banks to lend. And what they did, they've introduced something called negative interest rates. What does that mean? Well, all the banks, if they've got surplus money sitting on their own internal accounts, like you or I, if you've got surplus money, you want the best return. And so what they do, so they sometimes place monies with the relevant central banks, and the bank will pay them an interest rate, like a normal deposit rate we would get on our personal savings. But the central bank has decided now, well, why are we encouraging banks to put their surplus money with us? So what we're going to do from now on is discourage them. So they'll say, Mr. Bank, if you wish to put money with us, no problem. However, you will now have to pay us a minus figure of 0.1% interest. You have to pay us for the right to hold it. So the idea is that they're trying to encourage banks to actually get out there and lend the money instead of being lazy and putting it in the central bank. Whether it will work or not, don't know. They've also come out with a raft of cheaper loans, which will be made available to banks, where they hopefully can pass that on. So when we spot those banks on lending those through those new products, I'll include that within future videos. So what about alternative lenders? Shawbrook, which is a commercial lender that we use quite a lot, have just recently come out to say that they have made their first profit. So in the latest financial year, they made a profit of £16.8 million, compared to a loss of £7 million in the previous year. And their lending is now up to £1.4 billion. So great to see that an alternative to the main high street bank is now really beginning to gain traction and coming into profit. If you want to know more about their products, check out the link here, but also give us a call as well and we can point you in the right direction. So, what's my tip for you this week? Well, it's taken from a seminar that I recently did, and it's looking at this issue of what is the key questions that the bank ask, not of you, but perhaps of themselves. So in this clip, I'm going to share with you that one question that banks will ask when they look at your borrowing request. Let's go to that clip now. The second step then is something that banks may not tell you that they're looking at, but they are. So what they're looking for here are things that can perhaps upset your business in some way. These are things that are going to create obstacles in your way. Because what the bank is looking for here, it's asking a key question when it's looking at a business proposal. What they're looking for is the answer to this question. What can happen to this business that could lead to me not being paid? So what we're looking at here really are the risks within your business. Because the banks are in the business of managing risks. And do you know what? You should be as well. You should be in the business of managing your risks. There are a whole host of risks that each and every one of you are facing in your business. And this is what the bank is looking for. The banks are looking for the banana skins that are going to be tripping you up. The things, the obstacles that are going to prevent you from repaying your loan. So let's be clever. Let's be clever. Let's see if we can head the bank off at the pass and get there first. By identifying those risks and thinking about those risks before the bank does. So there we are. Ask that question of yourself. What are the risks you face and what steps can you put in place to mitigate those risks to head the bank off at the pass? Great. Well, that's my video for this week. I hope you enjoyed a brief overview of what's going on in the world. As usual, if you liked the video, you thought it was useful, please like it and share it amongst your colleagues. Get in touch with us. Any ideas for projects that you want to have a chat about, again, drop us an email at info@businessloanservices.co.uk and me and the team will be happy to have a chat with you. So that's it for this week. Thanks very much and I look forward to being with you again next Friday. So have a great and profitable week.